Hey, let's ready for Rumble. Yeah! Hey guys, I got really excited when I received this big box from Yeedi, and I thought I'm gonna run with unboxing. This time the box is much smaller though, so let's check it out. Wait a sec. Turns out I had to wait another couple of weeks because the vacuum wasn't released yet, and there was a delay in shipping. But now it's with me and I can actually dig it out and start cleaning. Okay, so far so good. You also have a separate dock. That's the mopping compartment. And a cable. And some instructions. And a spare brush. This is Yeedi Vac 2 Pro. And this is not my first smart cleaner. In fact, I have a couple of them. And it puts me in a great position to actually pick the best 2-in-1 vacuum cleaner, and there is only one way we can get this solved. Just look at this mess, that's gonna be the cleanest floor! Alright, maybe Battle Royale isn't the best way of picking a great Hoover, so let's roll with more traditional review instead. Let's start with the pricing, because there is a couple of things to cover. It is a bit of an expensive machine. This is €449.99. And that won't get you the vac station, which you'll have to buy separately, and that's gonna be another 179-ish euros. But it's worth actually considering getting a station for your Hoover for a couple of reasons. First reason, you won't have to empty the vacuum as often. Now usually it's gonna be done every 2 to 3 cleans depending on the surface area you're cleaning and how dirty it gets. But with self-emptying vac station, you'll have to do it once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Again, depending on your area and how heavy is the Hoover at work. But the second reason is more important. It means that on every clean the vacuum will self-empty itself and will have a full sucking power at its own disposal. That means it's gonna be better cleaning and you won't have to watch it degrade in performance as the compartment for the dust gets filled with dust. With the price scares you away, there's a couple of things to consider. First, the vac station is compatible with other Yeedi vacuums, so you don't have to get the latest and greatest. You can buy a cheaper model and still enjoy pretty good deal. The second is the trade-in that Yeedi has on their website. It means if you already have a vacuum from Yeedi, you can trade it in for a credit and get an upgrade much cheaper. I'll refer you to their website for details. Now that this is out of the way, let's talk about what's so pro about the Yeedi Vac 2 Pro. First of all, you have advanced carpet detection and advanced obstacle detection. If you remember my previous review, this one of the Yeedi Vac, then you probably know that it crashed into the mirror, tipped it over and smashed it to pieces. In the results for the next 7 years, I'm gonna be unlucky. Thanks, Yeedi. But with advanced obstacle detection, the Hoover is gonna do a basic mapping once and then switch over into advanced mode, in which it's gonna use the sensors on front of the Hoover to actually get close to the obstacles but not ram them, which will prevent from accidents like this happening. That will also prevent it from swallowing random objects on the floor, which probably the Hoover shouldn't be chewing on, like, I don't know, laces of the shoes, etc. Another thing is the carpet detection, which actually works very well. It will help you to actually not to get your carpet mopped, and it will also make sure that the best suction possible is available on carpets. Lastly, and a very exciting feature, is the oscillating brush. This is the first time I see a design like this. I'm super curious to test it out. So, since the cat is out of the bag, let's actually talk about performance, because I know you can't wait to talk about cleaning. I mean, come on, who doesn't like to talk about cleaning, right? So, vacuuming performance. I'll have a confession to make. My previous Yeedi was actually given away to my friends. Not because I didn't like the vacuum, but I really like my friends, and it did amazing job at cleaning, especially hard floors. Now, one thing I've noticed was that a vacuum was performing much more consistently, and it wasn't acting like a silly boy, by the way, that's how I named it, like it would at my house. It had more consistent cleaning patterns, and all of this probably because the docking position was so much better than where I'm keeping it. And while the latest vacuum from Yeedi is still running like a headless chicken, mostly because I'm cleaning the docking station in the same position, it does clean everywhere and doesn't skip a bit. And yes, I am annoyed that I'm looking at the map and looking at the Hoover and I can't figure out where exactly it is and where it's gonna move, but it's my personal OCD. In reality, you'll never have to look at this because you're gonna be busy with something else. I mean, this is the point. You're not there to supervise the vacuum. You're there to enjoy the time while the vacuum is doing the cleaning for you. And, well, the carpet cleaning is actually pretty decent and I'm quite happy. Especially that after every clean, the vacuum will go back to the dock, self-empty itself and be ready for action. The average clean time is similar to the previous one, which for my bottom floor takes around 45 minutes. That's around 35 square meters. So if you do the math, you'll end up with a figure around 1 minute 30 seconds per square meter. Obviously, it's going to depend on the floor layout, how much stuff you've got on the ground, and how difficult is path finding. So your experience might vary. Now, since the vacuum is capable of running for about 220 minutes, that'll give you a total of 100 meter plus of cleaning surfaces, and with the ability to go back to the dock, recharge itself and continue cleaning, you'll never have to worry about that. And despite having the docking station underneath the piano surrounded with excess of legs and difficult access, the vacuum docks itself consistently, even though sometimes do have a bit of a wiggle to end up on a dock, but it does it consistently and it never misses the docking time, unlike Xiaomi, which had a problem despite having LiDAR. Alright, it's time to talk about mopping. I have some hard floors, and since the mop has an oscillating brush, or mop, I'm very excited to test it out and see how well it does. Now, for that I revived the torture test that I applied to my original Xiaomi 2-in-1, and let's take a look at the results. It's time for the torture test, and I have several stains that dried up, including Coke, light soya sauce, dark soya sauce, something none of the Hoovers actually was able to clean, some milk, some coffee, some latte, and some fat, greasy Chinese sauce, because why not? After all, you never know what's gonna end up on your floor. I mean, honestly guys, even soya sauce is gone, which, hey, I'm impressed. But that comes at the expense of being slightly louder when using that oscillating brush. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect. First, there is this damned carpet detection. Now, the carpet detection is so good, too good in fact. The Yeedi Vac 2 Pro refuses to drive on carpet in a mop mode. I mean, it makes sense, but not when you actually want to travel to the dock or have a carpet in between one room with a hard floor and another. This means that the carpet consistently is gonna get stuck detecting a carpet and unable to change the environments, which is insane. I hope this is a bug and they're gonna address this, because no way, no option, there is an option to actually disable mopping, and the only way to get around it is either to pick up the vacuum and put it in a new place, or remove the tank with mop and resume cleaning, upon which the Yeedi just continues like nothing ever happened. I wish there was an option like on Xiaomi ones when you can simply turn off the mop and forget about it, but no, it's not. In fact, I don't really recall this behavior on the previous yeedi vacuum. I never had this problem, so what's going on? I'm gonna feedback this to yeedi and hopefully that's a bug and they're gonna get it fixed. Let's talk about the app and the smart features. Now the Hoover is smart and is able to avoid obstacles in advanced detection, which means instead of bumping it and detecting it by a contact of the bumper, it will do that on the first pass. Once the map is created, you will be able to use advanced detection to actually stop in front of the obstacle or just barely touch it and move away from it instead. That should prevent from any unfortunate situations like this happening where the mirror is being destroyed and certain things being swallowed by the brush like shoelaces, etc. But the main complaint I've already mentioned is the mapping, which will be temperamental depending on where you're gonna put the dock. Personally, I don't care that much because I just let it run, but if you want to use advanced mapping functions like cleaning areas or using virtual barriers, then obviously if your map isn't accurate, it's gonna be a lot of guesswork. Another thing that bothers me is the fact that they have limited labels for your rooms. So kitchen, you have a label for kitchen, living room, you have a label for living room, but they do not have a label for a hall, so I have to label it with A. Now, it's not like it matters because the only voice commands that you can issue via Alexa or Google Home are either to start the hoovering or pause the hoovering, not even return to dock, which is strange. I mean, the only reason I would ever use voice commands would be for individual rooms cleaning, because that makes sense, otherwise let's just start covering everything, right? So I don't know why. I'm really hoping they're gonna add these functions to the Hoover and you'll be able to pass the individual room names in a voice commands. But the redeeming quality in this app is actually order of cleaning, which I find very useful because if you can start cleaning in specific order, you can expect the Hoover to finish certain areas at a certain times, which is nice, especially if you have a very big area to manage and you are afraid that you might run out of the charge. It means when it happens, certain areas are going to be already waiting for you cleaned. Other than that, you have the typical interface where you can set the schedules, you can apply Do Not Disturb, and select different presets for cleaning, including 4 different modes for suction strength and 3 different modes for mopping. Unfortunately, no option to disable mopping entirely. So, in my conclusion, if you have a lot of hard flooring and you're looking for something that's gonna scrub them clean, yeedi Vac 2 Pro is definitely an option for you as long as you can forgive its shortcomings. I mean, chances are you won't even encounter those issues if you have a different floor plan and you don't have the particular situations that I'm facing. So if you are interested, in the video description you will find this link to this particular cleaner and a discount code probably to keep it slightly cheaper. So do check it out if you're interested. So, you know what next? I do not have a posting schedule. So if you're interested what's gonna happen next, then you know how YouTube works. I'm not going to explain all that. Use the tools provided to follow me. There's a couple of social media links in there so you could follow me and get a head start in regards to what I'm working on and start a conversation, so use that as well. As for now guys, thanks so much for watching and I'll definitely going to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.